Hello and welcome to the Connective podcast. My name is Caden. I'm here with my co-host Jake, and today on the seventh episode, is this the seventh or is this the sixth? One of these episodes of the Connective podcast. And today we're talking a little bit about college sports, what that's like, and kind of recapping the 2020 season from SMU's perspective, and then just mentioning the national championship, which just occurred as of this recording a couple days ago. Yesterday, recently, I don't know.
Yesterday.
I didn't watch it. So, all right. First and foremost, sports. Should you go to the games? Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Absolutely. At SMU, so this is like the first. Last year was the first year SMU was good since the 80s, right?
Right, because they
top 25. They're the only team to get the death penalty. They kind of pride themselves on it now.
Yeah, because we're special.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of cool walking around and knowing your top 25 team. You know, people know SMU now. But we had two. I think what did we say? We finished 7-3.
Yeah,
we should have been 9-1. We had two games we somehow lost. We should have won them nicely.
Unfortunate losses. It's okay.
That's sports.
Yeah. It was still a decent season. It was a good season to really get back into the feel of things after, really having some rough times after the whole death penalty thing. So.
And we're getting a new quarterback, so that'll be cool. I guess he's promising.
That'll be exciting.
That'll be cool.
Although Shane, fantastic quarterback.
Absolutely.
So, that was a good move.
But going to them was really fun, and because of COVID, they could only sell 1,000 student tickets.
Yeah.
So the student section was kind of small, but
yeah.
I mean, that's
it was a fight
school,
to get tickets.
Oh yeah, it was.
But no. I definitely think
it's a lot of them. It was good. It was a fun time, and it's right on campus, so I didn't have to drive at all because any other games, they're hard to get to. But these, it's 5-minute walk from my dorm.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So that was nice, but I think it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
I agree. It was definitely worth going to those. And they talk about you're going to miss your high school days because all the the energy of the football games on Friday Night Lights and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that translates forward into college, right? Sure, you can go to college football games after you graduate. And I mean, yeah, you can go to high school football games technically after you graduate, but would you really I don't know. It's just so much more meaningful as an experience while you're a student there to be just a part of the crowd because in the end, it's your school. You're there. It's really meaningful to be there, and it's such a cool experience. And even with COVID and everything, it was still just really fun. And at SMU, we have the grassy knoll or whatever, which is just an awesome place to hang out. Just that on the south side of the field.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of unique, I think, to a lot of stadiums. But kind of going back to high school. It was hard to support the football team in high school just because they weren't very good, and it was I mean I had friends on the team, which was cool, but it just felt like a joke, right? And then this is kind of serious. I mean, as serious as college football can get, and you actually got into the school. You're paying and you're working hard, so there's a sense of satisfaction, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in high school, I think we've talked about it. High school just is almost who can finesse,
Yeah, right.
There's not a lot of consequences, or I think there's certain students who will genuinely try hard, but a lot of it's who's going to take the easy route.
Mm-hmm.
And in college, it's really not that way.
Especially because you're watching essentially a team full of, on scholarship athletes who have dedicated a ton of time and effort and energy into the sport, and that's so fun to see, right? Just the level of skill and athleticism that it's crazy to think that these people could eventually end up in the NFL, or if you're talking basketball, the NBA, if you're talking baseball, MLB, whatever the case may be. Like these people could end up going pro, and that's such a cool experience because you don't ever really think about that in high school.
Right.
Like when you're in college, like it's such an awesome experience to know that like you're watching people who might be in the NFL who, have a good shot at that. And, the better the team is, the more likely it is that they're probably going to end up having more players go. So it's really cool to see, SMU is finally producing a high quality team with high quality
Yeah.
players, and they're probably on a journey that's going to take them a lot of cool places. So,
absolutely.
there's a deeper element I think to the sports in college, which is just, going beyond all the energy, all the fun, all the excitement, all, just the camaraderie that comes with like, oh, you're all at the same school, you all show up to support your team. Like it's just so cool to know that like, oh, these people are really on this like adventure, taking the steps to really take their careers to the next level in the sport if that's what, the route they end up going, which is just
100%.
awesome.
Absolutely.
So, and I think sports too, just like going back to the camaraderie thing, like I think sports in college develop more of a sense of shared camaraderie than any other like time in your life. Because like everyone on campus gets together. There's parties, there's events at SMU. We didn't have it this year, but we will next year. Boulevarding, like whole school goes out on the boulevard. We've got events, food, just stuff, right? And all that's just to celebrate the football team, which is just going to be a really cool experience. And I know, like if we couldn't make it to the games, there was a group of us that always had like a watch party. We'd go to a restaurant or something and watch the SMU game. So, I mean, we went to Buffalo Wild Wings one time. We went to a burger joint. Like, it's just a great place to just, like a great way to just get together with some friends, sit down and watch the game.
And you all have like something to bond over.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Even if you're from a different major or different part of the country or whatever it is, you have that one thing you can bond on and go from there.
No, you're definitely right.
Yeah. That was cool. I made some friends who I still talk to just by watching the game or going to. I think we did go to Buffalo Wild Wings once, and just a couple other restaurants like that. Get some food,
right?
And then just kind of go into the games. It was really cool.
We have a group chat now from the group that went to the games a lot or to the watch parties, and it was just. There's like 5 of us, and we've called ourselves the official Danny Gray fan club. That's our group chat. Because funny story. We're gonna branch off from the advice section of the podcast and move into some storytelling. So when we went to this burger joint, which I will not name for quality reasons, one of their TVs ended up getting stuck on a loop of a touchdown that Danny Gray, one of the receivers for SMU, scored on. And this loop played probably over the 2.5 hours we were there watching this game. It probably played 14 or 15 times. It was the same 7-minute loop, same, 30 commercials, whatever. So we started, just calling, quote unquote, that Danny Gray was going to score again, that, Danny Gray was on fire this game, and, that the refs kept taking away the touchdown for whatever reason. And it was just a dumb joke. But we got so stuck on the whole Danny Gray's the best thing that we just started always rooting for Danny Gray no matter what, and Danny Gray just became this iconic figure, and so we started the quote unquote Danny Gray fan club. So Danny Gray, if you're listening, we love you, we support you, we're proud of you, and you're an amazing football player. But again, it's that same. We were able to bond over that experience like you were talking about. So that was just a really fun time, and I think it led to the group really being brought together. That was funny. But so that was just a really good time, all things considered. So I don't know if like you experienced anything kind of like that, but I mean, maybe to a lesser extent than creating a fan club where I'm one of the players, but
we didn't get that intense. But people would just we went to Buffalo Wild Wings at least once, but we went to with some people in our dorm, and then we saw other people there who got there before us, and every time SMU scored, our table would go crazy, the next table would go crazy, and then we just kind of acknowledged the other team, and we talked afterwards, and I mean it was just kind of Yeah, no group chats, I don't think, started from that, but it was cool to just finally be able to, because we didn't go to elementary school with these people,
Right.
like, so it was cool to find these new friendships based on a historical team finally doing well,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and, uh, and that was cool. And then you see them around campus, and
Yeah.
there's a friendship stems from that. And
It's
maybe
one
you
of
go to a
those.
game with them another time or something.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those things where like you see in the sports commercials, like everyone's at the bar, everyone's at someone's house, like, and everyone's, for a pro football team, obviously all dressed up for the game. Everyone's wearing, whatever team jersey, and
Yeah.
they're all, cheering for the same team. And like you always look at that, as a younger kid, and you're like, that's not realistic at all. And then you get to college, and people start doing that. Like that's just a normal, natural occurrence. If you're in the area, during a college game, more often than not, if you go to a restaurant or a sports bar or something like that, you're gonna have, groups of people just all cheering on the same
Yeah.
team. Everyone's decked out in whatever gear, and it's just great. And I mean, even the dorms got turned into watch parties. My neighbors had a few watch parties. I sat in, watching the game a couple times. I mean, it was just, it's a great time, and you really develop some awesome memories there, and like you said, some awesome
Right.
friendships. So, I think college sports as just a rule have so much like more meaning to them than you're used to, which is just makes it all that much more worth going to them and
Yeah.
supporting them. So even if you're not a huge sports fanatic, like it's still just worth, participating because there's just so many
Mm-hmm.
memories to be made there.
No,
So
100%. I agree with that. And I'm from Austin, Texas, and so UT. Everyone down here is a Longhorn, right?
yeah,
And I would go to the games when I was younger, um, and people would be in their boots, their jeans, their white shirt, their jacket, and a cowboy hat, right?
hmm
And I loved it. I thought that was so cool. And then I got up to SMU, and everyone's just like, there's no formal dress code, but everyone dresses nice. So
right,
it was a change of scenery, which at first I
yeah,
was like, oh wow, but then I really liked it, and
hmm
I thought it was really cool. It was more, it wasn't as Texas, but it was more, it was unique,
yeah.
and
That
it was interesting.
that threw me so far off when I first saw that. Like first couple game days when everyone was like all dressed up, and there was it felt very, formal but not. Like it was just
Hmm.
weird to see like everyone could either be going out like to a nice restaurant, or apparently we're going to the SMU game, and that was just
Yeah,
a wild experience because I didn't expect to be wearing a dress shirt, a suit jacket, and jeans to support my team. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
and I that's not necessarily the nicest dress stuff I have. I'm just saying that that's kind of the quote unquote dress code is just, you know, and that's just awesome, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just, we go back again and again to, the bond that's kind of created from just, these events. So
And it's cool to see like old Mustangs come, like
yeah,
parents, siblings, and
mhm,
professors and stuff like
yeah,
that.
and even graduates too, right? Like people who
Exactly.
have
Yeah.
graduated from SMU, who have come from whatever distance, to see their team play again, and it's like, I want to be that in, however many years, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know people are like, oh, you need to, move on from college once it's over so you're not stuck in the good old days. But, go support your team, like
Yeah.
that's just a fun thing.
Absolutely.
So, I'm all for like, people coming back to really celebrate their team, to, celebrate what was accomplished or what's being accomplished. And, you know,
And that's
I think,
different than being stuck in,
yeah.
you know.
hmm Because it's a genuine fan base, right? Like it's not being stuck in the glory days of when you were, you know,
Yeah.
like playing on the team. Like you were just a fan then, and you're a fan now, and you're just a
Yeah.
fan
Right.
for, as long as you can or want to be.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like, again, a huge jump from, high school sports. Just because, no, there's no fan base for high school sports, and nor should there be. Let's be real,
Yeah.
there really
Yeah.
shouldn't be. I don't completely understand why Friday Night Lights is like a show, but you know,
Yeah.
like just Yeah, it's so cool to see.
Well, it comes with culture,
Yeah,
and football in West Texas. Like did you see Friday Night Lights?
I saw parts of it, like not.
Yeah. So my sister went to the high school, right?
Oh, for real?
Or no, my dad's sister, my aunt went
Gotcha.
to there, and my
Okay.
dad was gonna go there, but they moved, right?
Right.
And I talked to him about it just because I loved Friday Night Lights. And
Hmm.
I thought it was really interesting, and he said literally the entire town would shut down for the 2 hours or something to go watch the game, right? Like
That's
shops and
so
businesses,
nuts.
and I don't know what it is, but it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge out there and other places, but West Texas, I mean, they don't have a whole lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I get that, right? Like,
Yeah.
if that's their thing, then that's their thing. And, but I mean, just as a general rule, because I agree, yeah, it's cultural. Like, I think the further south you get, once you get to the, south and West Texas, like, it's a really huge thing. But, going up north, um, it's just not as prevalent. And even, just like, there's no real fan base, once you start getting just out of those two specific regions, and other pockets throughout the United States, obviously, but like,
Mm-hmm.
it's not as like prevalent where I grew up, and so there's no real fan base there, which is just kind of a cool shift when you get to college, right? Because it's just, if you're in a huge stadium, you've got people coming from all over the state or the area to come see this team play, and that's just a nuts experience, just to think like
Absolutely, yeah.
it makes a year's difference, but it's all the difference in the world.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's
100%.
just that's just really wild to me. I don't know, but and it's even funnier, going back to your mention of like, oh, it's a cultural thing. I was talking to a guy from Germany, about my high school football stadium, because it wasn't huge by Texas standards.
Yeah.
Especially because you talk about, like, there was the stadium in, was it
Yeah.
Allen or whatever, that was
Allen,
like
yeah.
$1 billion, or 100 million,
Yeah.
whatever it was. It
It's
was
something
nuts.
like that, yeah.
And it's like, and that's for high school. I've played in that stadium a couple times now, and I've loved it. But it's just like, I can't believe they spent that much money on it. But going back to the story, I was talking to this kid from Germany, and he's like, he saw the picture of the field I sent him, and he's like, is that like a semi-pro stadium, like, because it's not a huge stadium. I mean, it's just two, rather large metal
Mm.
bleachers on either side of a standard size football field.
Yeah.
And it was just so mind-blowing to this guy that only high schoolers who were unpaid, that all of this was funded by the school district. We were all just playing on this
Yeah.
field like it was no big deal. And he's like, my high school field was a grass, lumpy piece of crap that we just all ran around on, and sometimes they marked it off with some chalk. Like,
Yep.
and it's insane to just hear the differences, between what we consider normal for our, average football team, to
Absolutely.
what someone else considers,
And
a semi-pro stadium, not even like a university or college. Like, that was semi-pro, you know what I mean? Like,
uh-huh. And they
that's
got a
just
lot of blowback for that too. They got a lot
yeah,
of criticism. And
yeah.
I think they should. They could have bought a whole lot of more
Right.
useful
Who
things.
needs
But
that? Like, did they really need
yeah.
$100 million? Like, if you have $100 million in free cash to go around to a school district, I mean, supplement the education a little bit, right? There's
Yeah.
no way your education is so good that you're like, yes, let's spend $100 million, or whatever the number was. It was a lot
No, it was something like that, yeah. But
on
I mean
a
that school
stadium.
is a powerhouse.
Yeah,
Like
no, I get that it's a
there's
powerhouse, but it's
like
not a
there's
moneymaker.
several, yeah.
You know
No.
what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like, because the pro teams and the college teams, they make all that back.
Yeah.
They make all the money back that they put in from endorsements, sponsorships, advertising, all those great things, because if they do well and put money into their athletics program, it pays them back, and usually for profit.
Yeah.
But in high school, there's no, tickets are free for students and like $4 for parents. You know,
Yeah.
Let's assume, let's assume a grand total of 500 people show up a game that aren't, students, which is a ridiculous number, but let's be bold here. That's $2,000 a game. Call it a 10-game season. School makes $20,000 a season, if that, which is a lot of money, sure, but not in comparison to, we spent $100 million on a stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. So.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah. But going back to college sports, we've got basketball starting midway through the season now. We're pretty far into the season.
Yeah, we are.
Soccer's coming up. Baseball, I think, is right after that. What are you looking forward to? Like, you got anything?
I'm kind of looking forward to soccer.
Yeah.
Like I used to not be, like I didn't really understand soccer, but then I went to a Real Madrid game in Madrid, and and then I understood it, but I didn't understand like the hype behind it, right?
There, okay.
And but being like the second most popular sport in the world,
most popular sport in the world, but that's fine.
Second most.
How is it second most popular?
Formula One.
Okay, you know what? I can concede to that as a car enthusiast. I can concede, but as an 18-year soccer veteran, I take a little bit of an issue with that.
I mean, not like big games, right?
Yeah.
Not like,
but overall
like
viewership and all.
Yeah. But because like half the world watches the World Cup, right?
Yeah. If you talk about the World Cup, it is unparalleled, greatest sporting event in history. Yeah.
But anyway, I went to a Real Madrid game in Madrid, and it was unreal. Like fireworks, and the whole stadium went crazy. And it's just a bunch of people like going off the rails, and it was so cool. And it went by a lot faster than I thought. Because what are they, like 180 minutes or something?
90 minutes.
Oh, 90 minutes. Sorry,
you confidently said, yes, I understand soccer, and then you just doubled the amount of time.
Did I say I understand it? Because, I get the point of it.
All right, fair enough. I can't argue that.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to soccer over anything.
Yeah.
And then I think baseball season would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And basketball, I'm just not a big basketball person.
Yeah. I mean, I want to go to a game if there's one not over winter break.
Right.
But basketball is not really my thing. I'm definitely looking forward to soccer, especially because SMU was usually in the top 3 in the nation. So it'll be just good soccer to watch. So yeah. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Okay. Well, looks like we're running out of time.
I was gonna say, yeah, we are in the closing seconds of the podcast. So, do you have any final thoughts you want to chuck in there?
Support your school's athletics. Anything can happen. Good, bad, long-lasting friendships.
That's true. And
thank y'all for listening.
Subscribe to the Connective podcast because we need it. We have 3.
Smash that subscribe button.
Smash it. Yeah, I love it. No. But thank you guys so much for, taking the time out of your day to listen. We appreciate it, and we'll stay connected.